Thank you so much for being on here. If you're a working mom and part of you feels like Christmas is kind of slipping past you because you're tired, you're overwhelmed, you're emotionally stretched, I mean, this live is definitely going to be for you. And I want you to stay until the very end because I'm going to share one Christmas truth that changes how we give, okay? How we rest, how we experience joy, even when life is feeling somewhat heavy. And I know it's feeling that way for a lot of people. And this is why I've come on here. Hi, Dilip, you're Indian. Yes, it's good to have you on here. Actually, I have a lot of Indian viewers. Um, Thank you so much. And Dylan, I already knew that. I love it. And hi, Mama Purdue. How are you? It's good to have you on here. So, let us actually get started. And I just want to let you know that you're not behind and you're not missing Christmas. You don't need to do more, but just to be faithful. And so Christmas is supposed to feel joyful, you know, but sometimes it doesn't feel that way for some people. But for working moms, sometimes it can feel like a lull because you're just doing so much. You're full of calendars, you're full of expectations, full of responsibilities, and yet the season still carries some good news, right? Thank you so much, Dilip Kumar. How are you? And there's definitely good news in this time of the year. I don't speak that language, so hopefully you can translate into English. And just know, not because life feels easy, but because God came close, right? Um, let us slow down a little and let's actually read this together. I'm going to take this from Luke 2 and 6 to 7. I'm going to read from the New International Version. While they were there, the time came for the baby to be born, and she gave birth to her firstborn son. She wrapped him in cloths and she placed him in a manger because there was no guest room. There was no guest room available for them. And so, I don't know if those of you who are actually on here right now, something I read yesterday where when baby Jesus was placed in that manger, it was actually something that was hard. And so, when you think about that, hi Taria, how are you, Belskin? Good to have you on here. Definitely say hi, guys. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I'd love to give you a shout out. But I read about something, and let me know if you've all read about this as well, um, where the manger was actually really hard. And hi, Echo Nacho. And it had to be, of course, putting a baby into something like that, just thinking about it, having to pack it and put something hard. But in that manger or that area where baby Jesus was placed, it's a place where they actually put the sacrificial lambs that they did the actual sacrifices. And this is like that foreshadow where baby Jesus will be sacrificed just like these lambs and he was placed in the same spot. And how coincidental, right, that the innkeeper tells them, hey, you can just use that manger. And I look at that and it's like, oh, so you know what, the Lord is very strategic. And there's so many things when we actually sit and meditate on the word of God, is that we look and say, all right, so if that thing was hard, then he did definitely had to be swaddled in clothes, or definitely had to, had some kind of padding or straw or whatever it was, if we're looking at something like that. Hi, Asher William, how are you? And I'm not from the country. I'm and definitely not from the city. How are you? I don't know what you mean by detox. Randa Hammond, hi, thank you for being on here. And so when we think about that, there was no perfect setting, there was no ease, no applause. It was just obedience. You know what I mean? Just think about being placed on something so hard, right? And just having God show up that way. And so Mary didn't wait for peace to arrive before she trusted God. She trusted God in the middle of uncertainty, and that definitely tells us something powerful. God doesn't require perfect conditions to actually, bring peace. Randa, I don't remember what you tell me about the live that you were on last time. Definitely like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell because I'd love to converse with you all as I am talking. Um, and so, once again, God doesn't require perfect conditions to bring peace. And I'm really, really honing this in for, you moms out there, in that sometimes, we're looking for peace, but we're trying to get it while being perfect, right? And it's not really the perfection that is going to bring you the peace. So if Christmas is feeling imperfect this year, guess what? You're actually closer to the heart of the story than you think. So let us keep reading. I'm going to read from Isaiah 30 and 15. God speaks directly to overwhelmed hearts here. This is what the sovereign Lord, the Holy One of Israel, says. Just note that in repentance and rest is your salvation. In quietness and trust is your strength. And so, but you would have none of it. That verse isn't a rebuke, it's an invitation. So, all my moms out there, and for all of you who are actually doing the hustle and the bustle, and it's feeling somewhat difficult, the Lord is inviting you to actually rest. You have to understand, even when He created the world and the things on this earth. Hi, Jessica. How are you? Good to have you on here. Rand Hammond. I don't understand. And so, just to let you know, the Lord invites you to rest. And when He created everything, He rested on the end. And He said it's good. It's good to take a break, to rest, and look back on what you've done and say that it is good. Because you know that things evolve and you can tweak and you can, make better. And so just know that your rest isn't weakness. Your quietness isn't failure. It's a good thing to sometimes sit back and let the quietness just resume, right? It's where your strength begins. And so Christmas is a season of giving, but not just to our families. Because sometimes we look at it and it's like we give all these gifts. And trust me, Santa isn't the reason for this season. That's all, make believe. Whoop, for a lot of people. It's how you want to, carry on your Christmas. But it's definitely about the season of giving. And it's also the time for us to give to others in need, right? And so when you think about that, sometimes when I say in need, we think about those who are maybe like poor. And Jessica, you're going to need to rest after today. You're tired. Well, you know what? Take that rest. So we give to people who are in need. And sometimes the most powerful gifts, they just aren't wrapped. Sometimes they look like kindness, patience, grace, and guess what? Presence. Because your presence, and this is why we actually, and when I say presence, I don't mean the boxes that you actually like wrap up. I mean your presence, being there for family, being there for friends, being there for people in need. A lot of times people take that time to go to shelters, to give food, to give clothes, belongings, to sometimes people take children in and other family members into their own home. And so giving, it's more blessed to give than to receive. The Lord will fill your cup, not necessarily from that person, but it could come from someone else. And so giving is a good thing because your cup will eventually overflow. And it's more blessed to give than to receive. So do understand that when we slow down, we actually notice people again. And it's good to do so because people will give into your bosom. And that is joy. So when you notice other people, they eventually start noticing you. And so, Jessica, yes, it is better to give than to receive. That is where your joy is going to come in, right? And you can give from peace and just not any of that pressure. So let me ask you something, and feel free to answer in the comments or in the chat right here. What part of Christmas feels most joyful right now? What part is actually feeling joyful? Because some people are feeling run down at times. I'm actually sitting outside and it's so nice When we think about Christmas, we think of it's snowing, it's extremely cold outside, and it's all the movies that we watch, you know? And that's just not it. That is not the reason for the season. It's lovely to have all of that, but you have to understand if Christmas is celebrated all over the world, we celebrate it in many different ways. Why are we trying to compare ourselves to others when we may live in other areas and places around different types of people? And I live in a warmer climate. So, it's going to be warm where I am. I don't have any snow. Am I going to be upset or depressed about it? No. But I'm going to enjoy with my family and my friends. And I'm going to make sure, I've learned over the years is that, I need to play that part to help my day to be successful because people tend to mimic your behavior. And so when I say it's more blessed to give than to receive, then guess what? When you give to others, you're going to get back in return. And death and life is in the power of the tongue. And so when we speak life to others, life will be given back to us. So tell me, what part of Christmas feels most joyful right now? Because Christmas can be joyful. Sometimes we think we're alone, but guess what? Sometimes it's good to sit in silence. And you can actually find something to do. You don't have to sit alone. You do not have to do it alone. Sometimes we feel like other people have to do it for us, and they don't. And what part actually feels heavy? So you can look at it in two different ways. And let's speak to that. And so Jessica says, I got a lot of joy from watching my son and husband open their gift. Their reactions and excitement was everything. Absolutely. And so the joy of something that Jessica gave to her family members is, and then seeing them feel good about it. Guess what? She gave, but she also received the joy of watching them be happy. And so it's definitely more blessed to give than to receive because guess what? There's no right answer. But you know what makes you feel good, right? And it made her feel good to know that they felt good. And let me tell you something. A lot of moms out there, we have a tendency to actually feel this way. And so God meets us in honesty. As long as you are being honest with yourself and you're being honest with the people around you and you are intentionally giving from a clean heart, then God will meet you there. He will meet you in that honesty. And so you ever see a lot of people who are givers and how people just give to them? Sometimes we look at rich people and we say that they give away certain things for free, and they tend to get back as well. They have friends who give them things for free. Why can't we give to our friends and family freely? All right, so let's look at the season as a time of giving. Okay, and so here's a simple shift that you can try this week. So instead of asking, what else do I need to do? Ask, God, where can I give from joy instead of obligation? Sometimes we're feeling obligated. One person, one moment, one small act of love. And as moms, we tend to give regardless. We are giving that one person, one moment, one small act of love. But not only to our children, guess what? Let that light bulb come over your head. Moms, you are that one person. This is your moment, and give yourself that one small act of love. Because moms, Christmas is for you too. It's not for you to prepare and do all of these things. Christmas does not have to be all overboard. You know, I didn't put up any of those loud decorations, but I still celebrate with my family. And that's how Christmas multiplies. Because a lot of times, we as moms, we forget ourselves. So I'm out here letting you know that stop forgetting yourself. Give to yourself as well as you give to others. Because people treat you based on how they see you treat yourself. You know that? Right? So, here's the truth I promised at the beginning. You don't have to exhaust yourself to honor Christmas. God is not impressed by burnout. He's pleased by just your trust. Just know that peace is found at the end of the checklist. It's found in His presence. So, as much as you have all these checklists, and you have all of these things to do, run around, cook food, um, make all of this preparation, peace is at the end of that checklist. Because guess what? Take your rest. It's found in His presence. And that presence is available to you right now. Sometimes we forget that He's there because we're so cumbered. We are so highly cumbered. And we need to kind of put that to the side. And on this Christmas, I want us to put down the cumberness, um, and get into the presence of the Lord and enjoy with your family and your friends and all of those who are out there who you can actually give to, and include yourself in the giving. And so, if you're craving more peace, clarity, emotional support beyond just right now, just remember, for those of you who are on here for the first time, I do host a free Christian Working Moms group where we talk and walk through everything together, gently and faithfully. We talk about everything motherhood. We can pray together. Listen, you could be building a business, whatever. You come with your question, and every mom online, we work together. And this is our time to give unto other moms. And so I do have the link in my description. And I would love for you to click the link and join my free Christian Working Moms group. And it's no pressure, no perfection required, just community support and a space to actually breathe. So this Christmas, you already are enough. And what parts of this live actually resonated with you most? I would love to know. Drop it in the comments. And what is one thing you're choosing to release this Christmas? Hi, Trenches. How are you? And so, what part of today actually resonated with you? It's good to have you on here again. Merry Christmas to you as well. I am glad you are doing well. What is one thing you're choosing to release this Christmas? Seeing that you're just jumping on here, Trenches, and I know you're usually on here when I do my walk talks during the week, don't forget to share this with your friends and your family, because Christmas is not just about giving to others, it's also about giving to yourself and finding that peace for yourself. What does peace look like for you right now, Trenches? I know I asked a few questions, but I'd love to hear from you. What part of this actually resonates with you? And just to recap what we all went through, we talked about Jesus being laid in the manger and how the Lord is not looking for perfection. We like to make Christmas perfect, and we're doing a lot of the hustle and bustle, and we don't take the time out to rest. Well, the Lord wants you to take time to rest, okay? And so it's not just running around, but the season is to, it's about the Lord. And so Trenches is talking about quiet and peace, and you don't know. That's okay. You don't have to know. I'm actually sitting outside, and this is where I'm getting my peace right now, and being able to converse with you all. I love you all, and you know that I love to be outside. Oh, I'm hearing all this noise. Like, oh my gosh. I love to be outside in the wonderful, peaceful, it's just a time to connect with you all. And so, as I said before, what does peace look like for you right now? So quiet and peace. Yes, definitely. Absolutely. And I have my family inside, and, I definitely, I love being with them. And don't forget to go to my description and click the link to join my free Christian Working Moms group. The next time we meet, we do meet once a month. It will be in January. And I would love to see my wonderful moms come out, and let's support each other. And if there's anything you would love to ask, just drop it in the comments. Just remember, no pressure, no perfection required, just community support for each other and a space to feel loved and seen. And so, as we wind down now, I want to say that I love you. I love you. I love you. And I'd love to see you all out here. I am on the race to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I'd love for you to share this with your friends, your family, and all the wonderful moms out there. It's really great to have you on. I love you. I love you. I love you. Have a wonderful Christmas time.